Today, we're going to talk about retirement, but, probably not in the way you're used to hearing about it. See that comfortable, predictable path that maybe our parents or grandparents followed? It's pretty much gone. The entire rulebook has been tossed out and completely rewritten. And that brings us to a pretty tough but really essential question. Is your retirement plan built for the last century? Because if it is, you might be in for a rude awakening. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly why those old rules just don't work anymore and what the new playbook actually looks like. So first up, let's take a quick look back at the old blueprint. The simple, predictable model that used to be the absolute gold standard for retirement. For generations, the path was just, well, it was clear. You dedicated your career to a single company, you saved what you could, and in return, you got a pension, a guaranteed paycheck for the rest of your life. It was a deal, right? A kind of social contract that was built on security. This slide just lays it out perfectly. The old model on the left there was called the three-legged stool. It was all about shared responsibility between your employer's pension, the government's social security, and whatever you saved yourself. But now, look at the right. That stool's been completely kicked out from under us. Today, the burden is almost entirely on you. You have to manage the market risk, you have to worry about tax uncertainty, and you have to plan for the fact that you might live a lot longer than any generation before. So, what happened? Why did this stable, predictable model just completely fall apart? Let's dig into the real reasons behind this massive shift. And really, the heart of the issue is this one huge change in the corporate world. As the data shows pretty clearly, companies started this big, systematic shift away from pensions, which, remember, guaranteed a lifetime income, and moved toward defined contribution plans like the 401ks we all know. That one decision, well, it changed absolutely everything. So what is a defined contribution plan exactly? Well, unlike a pension where your final benefit was defined and guaranteed, here only the contribution is defined. You and your employer put money in, sure, but the final outcome? Oh, that is not guaranteed at all. It all comes down to how your investments perform, which puts all of the risk, every bit of it, squarely on your shoulders. Okay, so this new reality, it brings a whole new set of obstacles. Let's break down the 4 key challenges that every single person planning for retirement today absolutely has to figure out how to navigate. First on the list is tax risk. You see, most of us are saving for retirement in these tax-deferred accounts, right? Like 401ks and traditional IRAs. That means we get a nice tax break right now, but we have to pay taxes on all that money when we take it out in retirement. So what's the problem? We have absolutely no clue what tax rates are going to be in 10, 20, or even 30 years. This giant question mark you see here, that represents a massive financial uncertainty hanging over all of our heads. The second major challenge is market volatility. Now, what's so fascinating about this slide is that it shows that timing is literally everything. If the market takes a big dive while you're still working and saving, that's the first bar, you've got time to recover. But if that exact same loss happens right as you start taking withdrawals in retirement, and that's the second bar, the result can be catastrophic to the long-term health of your portfolio. Okay, challenge number 3. This is actually a good problem to have, but it is a problem, and that is longevity. Thanks to all these incredible advances in healthcare, it is not uncommon at all for retirement to last 25, 30, or even more years. Just think about that. Your nest egg now has to support you for a period of time that could be just as long as your entire career was. And this brings us to the formal term for this challenge, longevity risk. It is the very real and kind of scary risk of outliving your money. This has become one of the single biggest concerns in all of modern financial planning. And ironically, it's a direct result of our own success in living longer, healthier lives. All right, so we've laid out all the problems. It might feel a little daunting, but now for the most important part, the solution. Navigating this new landscape, it just requires a smarter, more modern strategy. So let's take a look at the new playbook. A truly modern strategy is about way more than just picking a few stocks. It has to be holistic. So first, you need tax efficiency. And I'm not just talking about saving on taxes now. I mean diversifying your tax risk for the future, maybe using things like Roth accounts alongside traditional ones to give you flexibility. Next up is strategic income planning, and that means having a real concrete plan to turn your pile of assets into a predictable paycheck that's going to last. Third, you've got to build in protection against market volatility so that one bad year doesn't completely derail your entire retirement. And finally, all of this has to work together to ensure long-term sustainability. You need a plan that is durable enough for the long haul, and that could be 30 years or even more. So let's bring this all home. What does all this mean for you personally? And what does your path forward look like in this brand new retirement landscape? Look, the most crucial point is this: knowledge is power. Seriously, just by understanding that the rules have changed, that pensions are a thing of the past, and that tax, market, and longevity risks are very real, you are already in a much, much better position. You can now shift from being just a passive saver to a proactive planner, and you can build a strategy that's actually designed for the world we live in today.
So we're going to end with the same question we started with, but now, hopefully, it has a little more weight. You've seen the evidence, you know the retirement landscape has fundamentally changed. The only real question left is, has your strategy changed with it?